this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Running a business is hard enough. Don't make it harder with a dozen apps that don't talk to each other. One for sales, another for inventory, a separate one for accounting. That's software overload. Odoo is the all-in-one platform that replaces them all. CRM, accounting, inventory, e-commerce, HR. Fully integrated, easy to use, and built to grow with your business. Thousands have already made the switch. Why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Want to buy your way? Of course you do. That's why CarMax offers an experience designed just for you. Want to start online, then visit the lot, then go back online? Sure. Want to talk to a real person or chat online? Either works. Want to take your time and compare all the makes and models? No problem. Then make up some time by filling out the paperwork at home and schedule express pickup or home delivery? Done. When it comes to how you buy, CarMax puts you in the driver's seat. Want to drive? CarMax. Delivery restrictions apply. See CarMax.com for details.
At TJ Maxx, feel more you than ever, without compromise. Because we never make you choose. The quality you want, the styles you crave, and the prices you love. It's all at TJ Maxx. So you can focus on just being you. With so many finds arriving daily, that means so many ways to show your unique style. Shop in-store and online at tjmaxx.com. And Max what makes you, you.
We are in free agency season. It is signing time. And I know it was really slow for about 3 weeks, and there's a lot that goes into that. We're going to talk about that as the next few weeks go on as well, because things are going to pick up. But as we know, it was recently announced that they're restructuring, they being the Angels, are restructuring the Anthony Rendon deal so that he can basically fade off into the sunset and they can prorate or push his contract out a little bit and free up some their ability to pay some free agents as well. Works out for both, more so for Anthony. And that's been talked about ad nauseum. We can talk about, I'm not going to, give my judgment on Anthony and the way that he handled things and, whether it's the worst contract ever or not, because I think unanimously we all believe that. But this segment is not about Anthony. It's about the other contracts that we may have forgotten about that may have had that title before Anthony took it. All right. Now, we know all the stats around him. He only played 20% of the games, but there are other ones out there. So what I want to do is figure out the answer to two questions. Those two questions are, one, what other contracts can be or have been in the running for the worst ever, and why were those the worst? And is there any teams that consistently make these decisions and somehow are always in the conversation when they are the ones giving out these contracts? There is a team that does it a little bit more than others, and it probably won't surprise you, but we'll save that unveiling for the end of the segment. Okay, so trigger warning, all of you that have moved past prior contracts that were given out for your team, and you may have blocked it out of the consciousness and really just finally through therapy were able to get through it. I'm sorry to say I might be dredging up some bad feelings again. So if you don't want to feel bad, maybe go make yourself a Pop-Tart or something and come back in 15 minutes when we move on to the news, all right? Okay, so first, we have honorable mentions. And unfortunately, Mets fans, I know it's been a rough offseason. That's going to continue. I'm so sorry. First up, honorable mention, Jed Lowry. Now, Jed I've had him on the Cut on the Diamond podcast. He's a buddy. I'm not trying to drag Jed here. You're going to notice a theme here. There are two categories of these. Usually it's bad luck or it's bad decision making. And there's a whole bunch of bad luck. So I'm going to make sure that I give the caveat that sometimes things just don't work out and then no one could have controlled it. And there's some things that were probably avoidable that were just bad decisions. So I'll try to make at least my opinion on those distinctions very clear when I'm going through these. So Jed Lowry, if you remember, 2019-2020 signed with the New York Mets. had a 2-year deal for $20 million. Now, that's not a huge deal. He's a utility guy, good bat, didn't strike out much, had an elite approach at the plate, played a solid second base. It was, by all intents and purposes, not super risky, honestly. $10 million a year for a middle infielder is not that expensive, especially when it's only a 2-year deal. So let's throw that out there. However, in those 2 years, he only played 7 total games, and they were all in 2020. And also, remember, there's only 6 games in 2022, so it could have been worse. Could have been worse, and some of this was prorated, so the money wasn't quite as big of a sink. But when you only play 7 games, you can't really say anything happened. So basically, this was anywhere from I believe it would have came out to $13.5 million for nothing. But he did have a knee injury. The knee needed surgery. He didn't get it until the second year, so on and so forth. But sorry, Mets fans, that is a contract. That is pure sunk cost. And when it comes to sunk cost, that's an honorable mention. Number 2, and I would be remiss if I didn't put this guy in here. Trevor May, 2 years, 15.5 with the Mets. That guy sucked. That guy sucked. He only struck out 113 and 82 and 2/3 innings. What are we doing? I agree with Mets fans. Anyway, moving into our main contracts. These are the big ones. We're going to go over the details, and we are going to give a little context of why it may or may not be one of the worst. So this is in no particular order. I think you guys will feel what you feel about where they rank. We don't need to rank them because I'm not in the business of just crapping on players out here. I am in the business of giving some context. Context is where I live. So we're gonna keep with that theme. All right, number 1. I say it's not ranked, and then I immediately say number 1. Albert Pujols signed with the Los Angeles Angels for 10 years, $240 million. This was 2012 to 2021. He was coming off one of the best 10-year stretches with the St. Louis Cardinals in history, averaging almost 40 home runs and almost 120 RBIs a year, which is crazy. I would highly recommend you go Baseball Reference and look at I think it was 2003 to 2011, 2002 to 2011, somewhere in there. His first, he had 12 years with St. Louis, including the last one. So first 11 years, it was incredible. So to be honest, with all the information we had on Albert at that time, this contract being this massive made a lot of sense. But he got hit with the aging decline curve and got hit with it hard a little bit earlier than anyone thought. So his WAR before he joined the Angels was 88.7, an average WAR per year 7.4, which is insanity. Insanity. He is one of the greatest players of all time. In the years with the Angels, which spanned about 8 years, give or take, before the release and then the pickup by the Dodgers and then over to St. Louis again, was only about 12.8 total. So yes, he got over 100 total WAR, but the average WAR per year is about 1.3. That is not $24 million a year money. Though, the nice thing was, as this contract went on, and the $24 million was the price point, all the other contracts that got so big actually made his contract a little bit easier to swallow. So that's good, at least, because, inflation and so on and so forth. But his OPS decline, it fell off a cliff, and then it never came back. In 2017, dropped below league average, and then literally didn't go over until he made that big push at the end of his career trying to chase 700 home runs, which I'm glad happened. Honestly, it was one of the best stories of the summer that year.
Running a business is hard enough, so why make it harder with a dozen different apps that don't talk to each other? One for sales, another for inventory, a separate one for accounting. Before you know it, you are drowning in software instead of growing your business. This is where Odoo comes in. Odoo is the only business software you'll ever need. It's an all-in-one, fully integrated platform that handles everything. CRM, accounting, inventory, e-commerce, HR, and more. No more app overload. No more juggling logins. Just one seamless system that makes work easier. And the best part, Odoo replaces multiple expensive platforms for a fraction of the cost. It's built to grow with your business, whether you are just starting out or already scaling up. Plus, it's easy to use, customizable, and designed to streamline every process, so you can focus on what really matters, running your business. Thousands of businesses have made the switch, so why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. When Dr. Sabah and I decided to do a skincare line together, he said to me, we are going to give women meaningful beauty. And I said, that's exactly right. We want to give women meaningful beauty, which means each and every product is meaningful. It has a reason to exist. It's efficacious. You're going to get results. And then you just go out and live your life.
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
At TJ Maxx, feel more you than ever, without compromise. Because we never make you choose. The quality you want, the styles you crave, and the prices you love. It's all at TJ Maxx. So you can focus on just being you. With so many finds arriving daily, that means so many ways to show your unique style. Shop in-store and online at tjmaxx.com and max what makes you, you.
But the contract almost exclusively ran through his decline years, though in 2015 he did have an all-star appearance and he did hit 40 home runs, so there was a glimpse, but right after that it was downhill from there. And we can't really blame the guy. He signed through his age 41 season. Simply, I mean, no hitter is good at 40. They're just not. So it was a little bit predictable, but I think they were hoping to get more than that, and it looked worse and worse and worse as we got to the end. But I mean, I'll say, happy ending for him. Good job. And Albert Pujols, one of the greatest players of all time. So, sure, that contract didn't work out, but it wasn't like a dumpster fire. It was just kind of the normal thing you could predict. It just happened earlier than we anticipated. Here's one you may have not really thought about in a long time. Jacoby Ellsbury with the New York Yankees. He signed a 7-year, $153 million deal to run from 2014 to 2020. And unfortunately, his last MLB game was in 2017. He actually got released and was paid $63+ million after he played his last game with the Yankees. I believe at the very, very end before the release, they just told him to stay in spring training, and he never left. It's one of those things that he's a speed guy. When the speed goes, I know we had a lot of injuries. He missed all of 18 and 19 with those same injuries. We don't know how much of it was like keeping him off the field or if it was just like, hey, you're just not going to come back and we're paying you anyways. So it's the way it goes. But but he played the first half of the contract and then the second half was not worth much. So I'm sure Yankees fans out there remember that contract vividly. Next up, Crush Davis, my guy, the guy I gave up my first major league home run to. It was the year he hit 53, which actually got him this platform deal, which was 7 years, $161 million to the Orioles that was supposed to run from 2016 to 2022. Now, you guys may remember the big bad year. That is 2019, where he hit 179 and an OPS of 58 plus, OPS plus of 58 on the year, and he played the whole year, never got hurt. Now, that's not contrasted to his last year before he was shut down and then eventually was released, where he went 0 for, I think it was 52 before he got a hit in the season. That was disastrous, but we're not going to count that one. We're going to count the full season. We're hitting 179 with a 58 OPS plus, and I think he struck out over half his at-bats. Not great. In his final 4 seasons of this contract, he had a negative 5.8 WAR. Now, I don't know what happened. There have been rumors of just like, things kind of like the focus changing a little bit, medication. I can't verify any of this, so we're not going to speculate, but a change in production this fast and this abruptly is fairly unprecedented, and it's often cited as one of the worst hitter contract ever, who he may be dethroned now by Anthony Rendon, though Anthony at least put a positive WAR when he was healthy. And Chris was healthy and just was on the struggle bus. And I played against him, and I feel bad for him. And this picture, I think, represents the whole situation. So feel for the guy, though he was paid. So I hope he's, whatever he's doing now, he's doing it with a smile on his face. But it was not easy to find many pictures with a smile on his face on a baseball field at the end, and that sucks. Moving on. Next, this guy isn't a free agent. This wasn't a free agent deal. This was an extension and it just backfired in their face, but I will never have a negative word about him, and that is Miggy Cabrera. Now, everything I just said about Chris Davis and not being able to find a happy picture of him, that is all you can find in Miggy Cabrera. So let's just give the caveat before I go into the details of the contract. This guy is one of my favorite baseball players of all time. He was the most fun guy to face ever. He always gave you props when you got him as a pitcher, even when he wasn't doing very well. He always had a good time. He was always very engaged with the other team and with the fans. And I don't know, the guy just seemed like he was happy. And that counts for a lot, even though he was probably paid way too much over the 8 years, $248 million extension he had from 2016 to 2023. In that time, in that entire time, he put up 1.5 WAR over 8 years. Yikes. Now, this covers a lot of injuries. I know if you guys maybe remember the reporting on the changes in the knee with the recurring knee injury he had. That just means he has a chronic thing in his knee, I guess, that was never going to heal. At that point, I think all of the baseball world knew that old Miggy wasn't coming back. That said, one of the greatest hitters of all time, obvious Hall of Famer, one of my favorite players to play against. And you know what? He was with the Tigers for a long time. He produced a lot with them, won the Triple Crown with them, got them all the way to the World Series in 2012. Would not have been close without him. So, it might be tribute money. It might be thank you very much for your service to this team, and that's what it ends up being. And that softens the blow a little bit, and it softens the blow for me too. But if you look at just numbers, the production was not paid for. So Miggy Cabrera, probably one of the least productive 8-year extensions ever. Moving on, another one that is interesting because it involves some trades, and that is Vernon Wells. He was originally signed to an extension by the Blue Jays after making a World Series, after making an All-Star team, putting up his career year on his platform year at 27 years old. He then signed an extension. And actually, when he was at the Blue Jays, he had a couple disappointing years where he's about league average, and then he had another one where he made an All-Star team again and put up pretty good numbers. I think it was a 119 OPS plus, and then immediately got traded to the Angels for the last 2 years of this contract. And there was a lot of this happening with the Angels. Vernon Wells had a total of an 86 OPS plus in those 2 years, only had 1.5 WAR. He wasn't terrible with Toronto, like I said, but the Angels traded for him and then absorbed the rest of the contract, which was 7 years, $26 million. So the last 2 years, they paid $50-ish million for very, very little production. And it was basically... the Blue Jays got him. The Blue Jays got him. They sold him high. The Blue Jays knew something that the Angels didn't know, and the Angels got for the last 2 years. Though it was only for 2 years, it was the Angels getting kind of fleeced. Again, so Vernon Wells, you may have forgot he was even an Angel. That'll tell you all you need to know. Speaking of the Angels, another guy that was one of the most impressive players ever to watch play baseball when I was younger, that's Josh Hamilton signing with the Angels to a 5-year, $125 million contract to run from 2013 to 2027. In the time that he played, now, if you remember, there are personal issues going on with Josh Hamilton too. So a lot of this is bad luck. It's things that he needs to take care of. So I'm glad he did step away from baseball to address a lot of his problems, right? That is a good thing. And I think that even Angels fans would agree, that supersedes the need to have you on the field. So we're going to put that off to the side. But you still didn't get the production on the field. So what you want guys to feel comfortable, feel good, and be their elite selves when you go sign them. That is not the version of Josh that they got, which is unfortunate. There were some injuries. There was some rehab, like I mentioned. And he put up 3.7 total WAR in the time he was with the Angels. Now, he did get traded back to Texas at the end of this deal, so the whole thing wasn't there. But the bulk of it was, and I feel for the guy, but it did not work out for the Angels, and that's another Angels miss. So I don't know if you guys see a pattern. We've only said about 6 or 7 guys, and 3 of them are Angels. So, yikes.
Running a business is hard enough, so why make it harder with a dozen different apps that don't talk to each other? One for sales, another for inventory, a separate one for accounting. Before you know it, you are drowning in software instead of growing your business. This is where Odoo comes in. Odoo is the only business software you'll ever need. It's an all-in-one, fully integrated platform that handles everything. CRM, accounting, inventory, e-commerce, HR, and more. No more app overload. No more juggling logins. Just one seamless system that makes work easier. And the best part, Odoo replaces multiple expensive platforms for a fraction of the cost. It's built to grow with your business, whether you are just starting out or already scaling up. Plus, it's easy to use, customizable, and designed to streamline every process, so you can focus on what really matters, running your business. Thousands of businesses have made the switch, so why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. When Dr. Sabah and I decided to do a skincare line together, he said to me, we are going to give women meaningful beauty. And I said, that's exactly right. We want to give women meaningful beauty, which means each and every product is meaningful. It has a reason to exist. It's efficacious. You're going to get results. And then you just go out and live your life.
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
At TJ Maxx, feel more you than ever, without compromise. Because we never make you choose. The quality you want, the styles you crave, and the prices you love. It's all at TJ Maxx. So you can focus on just being you. With so many finds arriving daily, that means so many ways to show your unique style. Shop in-store and online at tjmaxx.com and max what makes you, you.
Moving forth past that, we have Detroit Tigers signing Prince Fielder and then eventually trading him a couple years into this deal to Texas, which then he eventually had a chronic neck issue that was very, very, very dangerous for him to continue playing, and he actually medically retired. So this was softened for a lot of ways, for a lot of reasons. It wasn't a massive deal because of how contracts work, and there is insurance you can take out on big contracts. So a lot of people don't know about this, but there's something called player insurance. So like if you get medically retired, then player insurance, your part of your contract or the whole thing maybe, is covered by an insurance company, and then the insurance company basically pays him. So the team's off the hook for it if he is medically unavailable to play. And this is for crazy things that happen. This is to protect you from, acts of God, if you will, like some tragic events. And this was considered one of them. So, though a lot of the money after he retired, I believe he retired in 2017, and the 9 years was supposed to take him to 2020. Those last 3 years should be paid through insurance, so not too bad. So it was a 9-year, $214 million deal. Tigers then traded the Rangers. His career ended at 32 tragically. He actually played no games after 2015, so it was like the last 4 years of the contract kind of gets wiped out. Tens of millions of the cost was likely covered by insurance. So I couldn't find any distinct reporting on that actually happened, but that is almost always what's happening, especially now. Like there's a lot of insurance being taken. Now it's not probably all covered because these are getting expensive, probably would be my assumption, but insurance does cover this stuff just in case this stuff happens. And he was unluckily, tragically told that he shouldn't play anymore, and he made the right decision. So that's just bad luck, but you just got to take it as it comes, I guess. Here's another one, Yankees fans. I know we try to forget, but Carl Pavano, New York Yankee, 4 years, $40 million, 2005-2008. In that time, he made 24 total starts and only threw 130 innings, and he threw nothing in the last 2.5 years of the 4. So, in classic early 2000s Yankees fashion, he received 2 nicknames, and Carl Pavano probably does not like this. So I'm sorry, Carl. I know you're watching. You might want to turn it off for like the next 90 seconds or so while I go through. He was nicknamed the American Idol, as if doing nothing. Now, for the kids at home that are definitely watching this show, American Idol was a show, I believe it's still on, where people around the United States would compete to see who could be the next pop star. So that was a play on that. It was very popular about this time. So if you didn't know that. And then also The Invisible Man. That one I think is self-explanatory. He missed 2 full seasons, and he became the template Yankees disaster contract. he kind of just became one of the punching bags, the punchlines of free agency contracts for them for a long time. And by the way, 4-year $40 at that time was a lot of money. 10 years, that's ace money, and they did not get that out of him. Speaking of ace money, this is the second gentleman from Kelso High School, same high school as me. This is Jason Schmidt with the Dodgers in 2007-2009. He was paid 3 years, $47 million, which is true ace money. That is a lot of money back then, a lot. Now, we covered this last year when we were talking about can a reliever win the Cy Young. The year was between him, Eric Gagne. So when he was with the Giants, it was between Schmidt, Mark Pryor, and Eric Gagne. He took third in the Cy Young voting. He was probably clearly third, but he had a great year, and then that was his platform year, and he was then paid this from the Dodgers. In those 3 years, he made 5 total starts and threw 24 innings. He got a shoulder injury and never pitched again after 2007. So after his last start with the Dodgers, he never pitched in a major league game again. And it might be the worst cost per inning contract ever. We did the math. He was being paid, I believe the per start is like, it's like $12 million a start. That's crazy. That's crazy. But again, bad luck, injury, labrum surgery, I believe, and you never want to see that. So Jason Schmidt did not work out for the Dodgers. And just like I think a lot of San Francisco Giants fans will say that Barry Zito didn't quite work out for San Francisco either after signing with them after a great early career with the likes of Tim Hudson and Mark Mulder across the bay over in Oakland. Barry Zito signs a 7-year, $126 million deal with the Giants to go from 2007 to 2013. He had an ERA plus in those years of an 87 and a 2.4 WAR over the entire length of the contract. Though, we need to give him his props. He was integral in October in 2012 to win a World Series, which at the end of the day, I mean, that's what the fans want. They just want a chance at a World Series. And Barry Zito participated in that and gave him that. So that does soften, I think, the negative feelings about him. But in general, underperformed that contract. That was a lot of money back then. It's a lot of money now. But that's ace money for a guy that was throwing anywhere from a 4.5 to a 5 each year. Though generally healthy, didn't get hurt a lot, which kind of hurts more, frankly, because you're going to get watch him kind of pitch. So every 5 days for a guy who's struggling, not throwing as well as he could. Okay, another lefty, another pitcher. A lot of pitchers here. Another one that you might have forgotten about. Mike Hampton to the Colorado Rockies. He signed an 8-year, $121 million contract to run from 2001 to 2008. In the time with the Rockies, which was only a couple of years at the beginning, and then he was traded back. And then he went to Florida, and then before he even pitched for Florida, he went over to Atlanta and then pitched more years with them, and actually came back down to earth and pitched closer to what his career has been. It just turns out that a lefty ground ball guy in Colorado, not so good. Was paid quite a bit of money from the Rockies. They show up in here a lot. He had a 5.75 and an 88 OPS plus, ERA plus. With the Rockies in his time there. Did not work out, but they were able to ship him early, and then he provided value somewhere else. So his career didn't just end, which is good. So that's a positive. Mike Hampton ended up being a very good pitcher towards the back end of his career as well.
Running a business is hard enough, so why make it harder with a dozen different apps that don't talk to each other? One for sales, another for inventory, a separate one for accounting. Before you know it, you're drowning in software instead of growing your business. This is where Odoo comes in. Odoo is the only business software you'll ever need. It's an all-in-one, fully integrated platform that handles everything. CRM, accounting, inventory, e-commerce, HR, and more. No more app overload. No more juggling logins. Just one seamless system that makes work easier. And the best part, Odoo replaces multiple expensive platforms for a fraction of the cost. It's built to grow with your business, whether you are just starting out or already scaling up. Plus, it's easy to use, customizable, and designed to streamline every process, so you can focus on what really matters, running your business. Thousands of businesses have made the switch, so why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Now I'd like to introduce you to Meaningful Beauty, the famed skincare brand created by iconic supermodel Cindy Crawford. It's her secret to absolutely gorgeous skin. Meaningful Beauty makes powerful and effective skincare simple, and it's loved by millions of women. It's formulated for all ages and all skin tones and types, and it's designed to work as a complete skincare system, leaving your skin feeling soft, smooth, and nourished. I recommend starting with Cindy's full regimen, which contains all 5 of her best-selling products, including the amazing youth-activating Melon Serum. This next-generation serum has the power of melon leaf stem cell technology. It's melon leaf stem cells encapsulated for freshness and released onto the skin to support a visible reduction in the appearance of wrinkles. With thousands of glowing 5-star reviews, why not give it a try? Subscribe today and you can get the amazing Meaningful Beauty system for just $49.95. That includes our introductory 5-piece system, free gifts, free shipping, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. All of that available at meaningfulbeauty.com.
At TJ Maxx, feel more you than ever, without compromise. Because we never make you choose. The quality you want, the styles you crave, and the prices you love. It's all at TJ Maxx, so you can focus on just being you. With so many finds arriving daily, that means so many ways to show your unique style. Shop in-store and online at tjmaxx.com and max what makes you, you.
Speaking of the Rockies, and now this contract has not ended yet, but we are very much on our way to not good. This is the only one that's currently still going, but I think we're far enough into it, 4 years into it, that we should be worried. And that's Chris Bryant. That's not Chris Bryant. That's Stephen Strasburg. We're going to flip. Stephen Strasburg, probably the worst pitcher contract of all time. And this is just bad luck. If you remember, 7 years, $245 million, Nationals. He won the World Series MVP. He got the Nationals their first ever MVP, or first ever World Series. You got to count that as a lot. And it is a lot, right? It's important. But after he signed this 7 years, he only made 8 starts and threw 31 total innings in 7 years, which is up there with Jason Schmidt, but he made $200 million more. I do believe, though, he was also had an element of medical retirement because of thoracic outlet syndrome. We did a video on that last year, and it's no joke. It involves nerve damage, and it can really mess you up, and you'll never pitch again. And that is what happened to Stephen Strasburg. Another guy who just is unlucky. An injury, a career-ending injury came out of nowhere. There's no way anyone could have predicted it. So I don't fault either one of those. It's just one of those unfortunate things. But hopefully some of the insurance, you know what? I love it when an insurance company has to just cover things because that's their job. So if the people who had to cover it here at the end were just an insurance company, I'd say it's worth checking that off the list, right? Checking it off the list. All right. We also have Chris Bryant on here, and somehow the photo got skipped. So Chris Bryant, another one. We're halfway through. He's an honorable mention. He has a negative 1.6 WAR so far in the first 4 years with Colorado. He's only hit 17 homers in the easiest part to hit homers in, and he's only played 170 total games, which is about 25% of the game. So 182 million over 7 years for 25% of the games. Very, very quickly approaching Anthony Rendon status. But again, I think a lot of the negative feelings around Rendon are also his scandals and the way he handled the scrutiny could have been done better. And I think we can all agree that we don't need to talk about that anymore. But the worst team at signing players is these guys, the Art Morenos. The LA Angels. They are far and away the worst. We have Anthony Rendon. We have Albert Pujols. Now the Rockies are close-ish. But we have Josh Hamilton. We have Justin Upton. You remember that one? That was a short-lived one where the production was much, much lower. I believe he had one of the 4 years he was there, he had over an OPS plus of 100, which is league average. Mike Trout is being paid over $400 million now, and he's missed a lot of time. Now, again, I think that's unlucky. I think that I don't like to second guess that one because that one made. If you can sign Mike Trout, sign him. I get it. He should do that. He should have done it. That was a smart decision. If you can keep him, keep him. But Art doesn't have a great track record of signing guys. And then maybe we got scared of signing any starting pitching, even though none of these are pitchers. They don't sign starting pitching for some reason, yet we keep signing hitters. I don't know, but I would say the Angels have a pretty tough track record. They probably have 5 of the top 10 worst of all time. Maybe it's time to look at what we're doing. But I want to know what you think. What did I miss? Did I miss any contracts? I probably did. There's a lot of like shorter term contracts out there that probably are out there. But remember, sometimes things don't go well. Sometimes you swing and you miss. And sometimes you can't avoid it. So sometimes it's unlucky. Sometimes you just don't know what you're doing. But these are some of the worst contracts ever done by any major league team for a free agent, for a trade, for an extension. And let me know what you think in the comments or the chat, because I want to know. And for anyone who finally forgot about it, now they're being reminded, my bad. I warned you.
Wasabi is purpose-built to free your business from skyrocketing storage costs and fees from the big guys. Wasabi is the go-to provider for professional and collegiate sports teams around the world. Check out Wasabi's AI-enabled intelligent media storage, Wasabi Air, and the industry's only cloud storage service with triple protection against cyber criminals. Wasabi, driving innovation in data storage for up to 80% less than market competition. Try for free at wasabi.com. Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage, proud partner of iHeart Podcast Network.
This is Jacob Goldstein from What's Your Problem? When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
This is Julian Edelman from Dudes on Dudes with Gronk and Jules. Sunday mornings, I've got my game day ritual. Coffee, Lucky Socks, and now new morning Uncrustable sandwiches.
It's all about that 12-gram protein boost with the new Uncrustables Bright-Eyed Berry or Up and Apple flavors.
Bright-Eyed Berry's got a feisty receiver energy.
Up and Apple, your classic do-it-all tight end.
Soft, pillowy, packed with protein, and easy enough for Gronk to grab from the freezer.
Whether you're on the couch, driving to the tailgate, or heading to the locker room, new morning Uncrustable sandwiches are the MVP of snacks.
Your new Sunday kickoff ritual starts here with new morning Uncrustable sandwiches packed with 12 grams of protein.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.